today we've got uh, Nikita Beer, who is the head of product at Twitter. He said, today we are revising our creator revenue sharing policies to maintain authenticity of content on timeline and prevent manipulation of the program. During times of war, it is critical that people have access to authentic information on the ground. With today's AI technologies, it's trivial to create content that can mislead people. Starting now, users who post AI-generated videos of an armed conflict without adding a disclosure that it was made with AI will be suspended from creator revenue sharing for 90 days. Subsequent violations will result in a permanent suspension from the program. This will be flagged to us by any post with a community note or if the content contains its metadata from generative AI tools. Now that's fascinating. We will continue to refine our policies and product to ensure X can be trusted during these critical moments. What are your thoughts on that, Ben?
If they can execute on it properly, I think that's a move in the right direction. We talked about this, was it last episode? Where there was the fake bomb going on and the guy's like, I keep this up because people need to know there's bombing going on. It's like, we know that, dickhead. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to make some money.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they can, I'm always like, it's great in theory, and practice can sometimes be an issue because who's enforcing this? I know that they do say briefly, but I'll wait and see how people get impacted by it. But I can't really see too much of a con there.
Word, man. Yeah. I think it's fascinating that Nikita is so open with the community and continues to like talk and say what they're doing.
You have to be, I think. And I also think that's the direction that the next wave of platforms will go, right? Where there's accountability.
It feels like an open source project.
Yes.
Like he's actually telling people what they're doing.
Totally. Yeah. And that's how it should be done, I think. And yeah, it'll lead to a better outcome when there are repercussions to just objectively bad behavior.
100%. I mean, what platforms were really doing this? Maybe they did it, but without the attention that he gets. I don't know. But people definitely engage with him and listen to what he's saying. All right. So next thing was Chamath. Everyone, so if you stuck around, you got what you waited for. Chamath Palihapitiya, early Facebook employee, investor kind of guy, early Uber investor, huge venture capitalist, multi-billionaire. He basically just dropped a massive warning against Bitcoin and says there's a structural flaw. So let me play this clip for you guys.
Bitcoin, for the most part, at this point, there's a structural failing in Bitcoin that I think people will need to come and wrap their heads around. The structural failing is that it is not. So if you think about like what is the value maximizing function right now for a crypto asset to be broadly adopted, it needs to have the features that allow a central bank to adopt it. And there are two things that it lacks. One is fungibility and two is privacy. And so Bitcoin fails on those two dimensions. So it can never be a structural holding of a central bank. Mm-hmm. And that simple thing will keep it in the realm of ETFs and humans. And
does gold satisfy those conditions?
Yeah.
Fungibility, but not easily.
Both. You have no idea how much the Bank of China owns. You don't know how many ounces they own. You don't know how many ounces I own. When there's a public ledger that says this address has this much, and you can't really trade it because you know the history and the provenance of that exact token. It's been used to buy this. It was transacted over here. It went to this wallet. That lack of fungibility and privacy is a huge deterrent for broad structural adoption. That's what you need to then add another 10x of market cap. Mm-hmm. So is there room for a different crypto asset that solves for the privacy and fungibility? Yeah. And are there projects right now? Yes, but they're very small scale. There's huge issues with them. Those are even more volatile. So Bitcoin's interesting.
So, Ben, what are your initial thoughts on that right there?
I've seen a lot of his older comments on Bitcoin. It seems like a little contrasting to what is there. But I'll also say, like, again, this is like, I guess they're using the whole number go up thing as like the reason for its existence, and I think that's kind of missing the plot, in my opinion. And maybe I'm too pie in the sky because I do understand that everything's very interconnected. But if everything is broken, like, shouldn't there be changes to that? And not easy to achieve at all. I am aware of how hard it would be to change financial systems, but yeah, I don't know. He's talking a lot more now for sure. I'm seeing him post so much now.
Well, yeah, I mean, he just started a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting thing, right? He's been on YouTube through the All In podcast for quite some time, but he just started his YouTube channel 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I actually saw that video, like his first video before it even started to take off. I guess they know that I like him.
It's so funny they're all trying to do that now. But this person said he's complaining that they don't get to hide their corruption ? So that's obviously where your mind would go right away. But there are also national security reasons for why that's dangerous, right? Because like any ability to track all these things can also potentially tell your adversaries like you can typically put 2 and 2 together in terms of why the reserve would go up or down. You could probably infer what that's being spent on, and then that puts you at a disadvantage to your adversaries. But again, is that if we live in a big old war machine, if that war machine gets eliminated, like, is that still a problem? I don't know. I've not lived in that reality, so I can't speak on it.
Yeah. The lack of fungibility piece, I think, is so interesting because that's a really nuanced part of the discussion that only, I don't know, you don't hear it being talked about a lot. But I don't know that it's actually that relevant. Like, why does it matter if the Bitcoin was used in some other way before? I mean, people don't care about that with physical dollars.
Not at all.
So that one's a weird one. But yeah, no, the privacy thing is a real concern, right? Like, but this is the perfect campaign, right? Like now the campaign is being had.
Oh, it's starting now, right? The whole partnership with Beast too, and that kids bank and everything. He's priming for something.
Bitcoin is not the answer, is what they're trying to say.
Bitcoin can't solve our problems, but this can because I own it.
Exactly. So crazy that we're getting to that point. Now, I also wanted to touch on some other drama that's happened with Chamath. I love you, Chamath. I want you to come on the pod one day, but we got to have the real conversations at the same time. So he got into an exchange on Twitter here, and essentially, so Chamath in 2020, 2021 era, he did a bunch of SPACs, okay, special purpose acquisition companies, where he essentially sold people on investing into a company that didn't really fully exist. A SPAC is when you essentially take a company that's already public. All right, let me back up. You raise money, you take that money, and you basically use it to go out and buy a public company. And with that, you've got this idea of what you're going to do with this public company, right? And you're essentially merging it with a private company, which is what you've raised money for, to do some new business venture. So you've basically raised venture capital money, but now you can raise it from the public because you're doing it to go out and buy a public company. So now everyone gets access to private venture capital types of deals through these SPACs that happened. Everyone was doing a SPAC back then. Anyone who had influence was doing a SPAC. All of them went to basically zero, okay? Blank check companies, you just give the guy the money and figure out what they're going to do. There's a prospectus, but it's venture capital. And venture capital without much of a company actually in place, to be clear. Now, so here's the thing. So someone called him out. I need to actually find the OG tweet because it was deeper than this, and I'm going to do it real quick. But essentially, someone was calling Chamath out about this, and he decided to respond. Now, when Chamath responded, he honestly responded in a way that was pretty wild. Oh man, I got to find this joint. Because, I mean, it was ridiculous. Okay, so this guy, Evan Genova, talked about how tech podcasts are so boring. He basically was coming at Chamath Papeete. He said, no one cares what Chamath thinks about politics. They want to hear what happened with Social Capital and why he closed the fund. So he also had an actual venture capital fund called Social Capital that he closed down. So this guy's kind of calling it out. He's basically saying, look, all of these influencers in tech are he said, the host is either someone who couldn't hack it in an operating role, so they're like some VC who's not actually doing it, or some VC who's just doing it to get more deal flow, right? So Jay Cal and all those guys are just doing it so they can get deal flow, so that when people want to raise money for their company, they go to them because they know them. Okay, so Chamath clapped back and he said, what happened at Social Capital was several things. He said, personally, I was going through a divorce. It was a really hard time. He said his co-founders spent more time trying to get board seats and credit for deals with outsiders versus doing good work. And he said it was increasingly clear that my returns were sporadic, but big and didn't fit in a classic fund with LPs. He was like, I was a home run hitter in a business where raising new funds invariably led to hitting singles and doubles. In other words, I was making suboptimal portfolio decisions, so I would return capital in order to keep raising funds. This is important to stack the compensation of my team who had far less capital than I did. So basically he's saying he needed to go for home runs and it wasn't what he was trying to do, whatever. But then somebody called him out for real, because they were like, well, really, what we really want to know about is about the SPACs, okay, that you had raised all that money from that pretty much all went to zero. So he said, how about all the scams through your SPACs? You never came clean about it. Millions of customers lost money. He says, BS in response. Okay, but this is like objectively true. And this guy over here responds with, it's not BS. I invested in all of them. Your pitches were compelling. Then I lost tons. You made tons. Why? And then this dude said, then you generated capital losses. Did you use those yet? Okay. So guys, in the investment world and in the tax world, you have capital gains and you have capital losses. When you sell an asset for a gain, you have a capital gain, you pay taxes on that. When you sell an asset at a loss, you have a capital loss. What Chamath has said here is that, well, I gave you an opportunity to write off a loss on your capital gains that you must have had. So two things that are wrong with that. First off, that is not an actual answer to the question. Okay. Secondly, capital losses can only be offset off of capital gains. Okay. So you're assuming that these people that you have gotten to invest in your company have made any money or that they have any capital gains to write off, which, brother, you're selling to the public now. You're not selling to institutional investors anymore. Not everyone has gains that they're writing off. People have their money in 401ks and the money's just going up. They're not selling that stuff. So you're telling me now I need to sell my other stuff so that I can have a gain to write these losses off against. My dude, crazy response to what happened to all the people that you scammed is that, oh, actually I lost you money, so you should be happy. So people blasted this dude for this and it was kind of funny. So Liquidity Capital just said LMAO, pointing it out. And then we got another one. This guy was like, my investors lost ungodly amounts of money. The classy version is, I generated capital losses for investors that can be deployed as strategic financial assets. Absolutely ridiculous. This next guy said, have you said thank you once for your capital losses?
The screen's not on anymore.
Oh, no.
That one was funny. That's why I wanted to make sure you showed it.
If you're enjoying this was actually taken out of a piece of our live stream where we go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. If you want to see the full version of this episode, you can click the link in the description down below. But for now, back to the clip. Have you said thank you once for your capital losses? Mocking the J.D. Vance incident a year and a half ago or whatever it was. My artists are cooking as usual. CL says, capital losses, did you use those yet? Talking to the person who's clearly destitute and homeless on the side of the street. So
honestly, it'd be really interesting to study these guys because they're so financially successful or that has to distort your brain chemistry.
True.
Like that, you can't be the same person anymore because everywhere you go, you get treated like a god, even though you were kind of in the right place at the right time. Smart guy, of course, but like when you're like a certain degree of intelligence, like for you, Keith, like I am so confident that you could have probably achieved similar results in the role that he had given the same opportunity. I don't think there's that much of a variance between intellect once you get to a certain point. I really don't. I've met some super, super successful people, and I've never once been like, that guy's way smarter than me. There are people who have like areas of genius where I'm like, oh, that guy would cook me, whatever. Mm-hmm. But if I had spent the same amount of time as that guy, I bet you I would know it like him.
Right.
Right. So, but like they start to think like, oh, because I figured this game out and because the world is so predicated on money, they get like a God complex, man. And I find it so crazy how like if you try to give any sort of like criticism to these guys, they respond like incredibly insecure high school people.
Crazy, bro. I mean, come on, Chamath. Come on the pod, but come on, bro. Like defend yourself here because this is just like unacceptable.
I don't think he'd come on a show like this.
What's been so funny is to see how they have that whole crew pivoted so much. Like they weren't always so on the same page. Now they're always all on the same page and don't disagree with each other in the same way as they used to. And it's just like, bro, like, come on, man. Someone also pointed out how basically that show is just like propaganda for the United States at this point because of David having been on there. But I didn't mean to spend so much time talking about Chamath Palihapitiya, but I also have looked up to him so much,
totally,
to be fair.
He's a very smart dude, and I loved him when he was leading growth at Facebook. Love is an exaggeration. I respected him in terms of what he accomplished with, I think, some help from the government. But besides that, yeah, objectively, he did really well. But when they get into this groupthink thing, they're so far removed from the rest of the world. And we brought that up so many times where, like, why I think this show can become mega successful is because we're just dudes. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. And also, I think the benefit is that, and this is also, I do want to give some grace to like him, Logan Paul, we've brought up before, like us given the same exposure at that time, I may have been even more of a dickhead.
Yeah.
Right? We had the benefit of seeing, that screws up your brain. Right? And then also deliberately creating counterforces for that, like in the form of a discussion like this. And also, why do you think also it's so important for us to have the live chat? Because if we start being like Chamath, people will be like, fuck you. Do you know what I'm saying? Right?
For sure, man.
And so I think that's also kind of goes with the whole thesis of crypto in general, is that I do think that I love meritocracy. Like, I want the best person to win, but I should be given the fucking opportunity.
Right.
Like, as a kid in Canada, I would look at all these business builders and I'm like, I can never compete with these guys. Where the fuck am I going to get money from in Canada? Same happened in sports too. Like, I was better than a lot of American football players, but because I was from Canada, I never had a chance. I think that's stupid. I think that the world should be opening up and be more democratized. If you're the best, fucking win. And if you won last time, why aren't you coming back to play again? Because you're afraid of losing now?
Right.
Like, that's a whole thing that Jeff Booth talks about, right? Where we've never lived in a truly free market. Because if you can accumulate enough resources to where I can basically bully you into submission with legal fees, that ain't a free market. That's bullshit. We lost you.
Oh, no. Promise.
What's up, chat? How are we living? You are still humans. Yeah, I guess. If that's what we are, for sure. Please don't change, you two. We'll change all the time, but hopefully in positive ways. And I'm sure you guys will grow along with us. You actually have eyeballs still. I don't know that one. But Noxo, I saw one thing that they said earlier. Always great contributions from all y'all in the chat. You guys are all super awesome, and we really appreciate you hanging out with us. You make this so much more fun. But they said, can you really enact change without a war? And I think you can, but it takes opting out. I think that's kind of what crypto is, right? You don't protest, you just don't give it energy.
Yeah.
You have to understand. Go ahead, sorry.
No, yeah.
You have to understand that decentralization is possible and what is decentralized, right? Like that's really, really important, because then if that becomes like, okay, this is really like the thesis of crypto. That's why it's so important to go read the Bitcoin white paper, guys. Because that was the foundation this was built on. And I don't even think Satoshi was like, okay, Bitcoin's going to solve the problem like we talked about. I think Bitcoin is a marketing vehicle for what may eventually solve the problem. And so if you believe in this future, guys, don't put your time, energy, and resources towards something that is counterintuitive to that. Yep. Right? Just because if you chase number go up, then the people who have the money to make the number go up will make you chase things that put you in the situation you don't want. Right? Because everyone who's in crypto is like, oh, money is bullshit, money is fake, but then they're worried about the price of their crypto in money. And I understand that, of course, it's going to be like a transitionary period, but if we can build economies and ecosystems that don't actually have to live through that, then it gives you more choice. And we're getting more options day over day. And we need builders who care about this stuff, who understand this stuff, to build awesome shit.
That's it. So come join us. Come join us in building all this stuff out. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying like the game is tilted to the wealthy. It always will be, as long as we want their money. The only reason these guys have power is because we're operating in a system where they won.
Love it, man.
But then even doing that will be expensive, and I have no skills. So I've been thinking about opting out of this stuff. So I think the best way you protest something is you do what you have to do, but on all the time that is yours, you direct the energy towards getting closer to that outcome, right? So if you're saying you don't have any skills, go learn them. Like, YouTube is an endless resource. AI is even an endless resource for free, right? So the ability to acquire skills is just like so easy there now.
Thanks, RD. Thanks for sticking around and moderating the chat with us.
Oh, always. RD is an absolute legend. Thank you, RD. Have a good one. We had someone do a super chat earlier that we didn't acknowledge, so I want to apologize for that. It was a while back, so I don't even know if I can get back that far.
Yeah, it won't let me either.
So let me see. Fan funding, super chats. I got it here. Cool. It was from Jason Jordan 7482, and they said perspective is everything. And I would completely agree with that. And sorry for not acknowledging this earlier, but hopefully you're still here with us. And if not, hopefully you see this in the replay. We really appreciate it.
Most definitely.
But sorry, I monopolized the conversation. Go ahead with the next point.
If you're enjoying this was actually taken out of a piece of our live stream where we go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. If you want to see the full version of this episode, you can click the link in the description down below. But for now, back to the clip. Well, the next piece that we got to look at, this was fascinating, y'all. Polymarket. There was a moment where there was a nuclear attack market. So Polymarket had created a market that would monetize a nuclear attack amid increasing concerns that bets are happening among government insiders who can make military decisions. There was a nuclear weapon detonation by 2027 that was trading at 22% probability. Okay. And eventually, they actually took it down, potentially after this went super viral. So, here we are, folks. We've got it to the point to where the actual nuclear attacks themselves are becoming bets. They deleted it. And this one here, Polymarket History said, the reason was that, I don't know if this is true, but it says, if the prediction becomes true, the winner might not exist anymore. How dark is that?
It's so dystopian every single day. But we do have agency over this, right? Like our time and our energy and whatever resources we do have, they do hold power. But anybody who already has a lot of it and they know you can't get it, they're going to convince you that this is everything, right? Like, oh, you're not relevant because you don't have this. It's like, okay, I don't agree with that. But yeah, I think Polymarket is fucked. Excuse my French, but like that's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, that's not something that we want to watch happen in real time or just have someone, be incentivized. Once again here. I mean, obviously, you're not going to win either way, but.
No, war is so freaking, it's absurd. It's so sad.
So this guy, I'm actually just now realizing maybe this is a little bit of a joke account. I don't even know anymore. Suhan Lee IQ 276, the world's highest IQ holder. Now I'm going to have to Google him and see if he's real at all. But this guy posted this concept of one of the plans that could help to solve this equation with the problem with the canal is, with the Strait of Hormuz, is to just create a canal. And he kind of outlines it step by step and why this canal right here would basically solve the whole problem, right? Just cut a canal through the middle of that and then make it happen. And I saw this and I thought this was kind of funny. But I don't even know if it was meant to be funny, but it just kind of made me think, imagine you have a canal right next to the ocean. It's like, well, what do you, why are you just go over the ocean? But no, I think it wasn't even really meant to be funny. I can't understand if this is supposed to be humor or not.
Sharp is saying that the world highest IQ holder, ironically, is that person?
Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe it is actually real. The reason that this didn't make sense in my head, and maybe I'm missing something here, is just that, how long is that going to take to do?
Yeah,
for one. I think
that wouldn't be a safe job either.
Yeah, now you've got a war happening right there as well. So not sure if that's actually going to happen. So yeah, I just was like, okay, but to be fair, why wouldn't this have been something that was done a while ago too? Right? That could have been very useful to think, oh, we don't want to have one choke point. There should be at least another way to get through this area because we have our people that we don't like over here. Right. Yeah. So anyways, I don't
know. It all seems like a lot. We're talking before we started recording where Charles made the point, our episode with him, where he said, I don't need to convince anyone to, use my technology. Eventually, they're going to beg me to use it, kind of deal. I'm paraphrasing him, but I do think that more and more people are going to eventually get to the place where like, what could possibly make this less messed up? And I do think that people will find blockchain, but
blockchain is gonna cut a canal through the middle of the
definitely
Strait of
not.
Hormuz.
But I think that may be what makes people start realizing what it is, right? And educating them on the concept for why that exists. I think that some nation states will probably start adopting different blockchain protocols to run their operations, and things will be less messed up there. And then eventually the market wins, hopefully. But yeah, no, I don't think it's going to could do construction blockchain. But yeah, it's definitely super interesting because these problems are stuff that it's so funny how a small passageway for boats becomes the main character on a global stage, because like if that doesn't show you how stupid our world is, I don't know what does. Do you know what I'm saying? Like how dumb this all is, where like we're going to go down over this.
Mm-hmm.
This is so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, because also, what is it? Someone said in the chat earlier, I think it was like, well, what exactly is this actually about? Like, I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah.
And
like,
what's actually happening right now? I don't know.
I don't, it doesn't seem like anyone knows. Like yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So back to Polymarket real quick. Better and Polymarket have in some sort of a way done a partnership. I don't actually know what Better is. You know what it is?
I do, yeah. So it is Jake Paul's gambling app.
Okay. So they are combining with Polymarket to do a prediction market that will make Better a super app in 2026 is the term that's being used as a super app of betting, I guess. So this is something that's fascinating. We've already talked about this a ton today, so not too much else to say, but Jake Paul, everybody's moving towards this stuff. I think those are some of my major points that I was willing to touch on for today. Just a couple of memes for the folks. So we had this whole thing with the McDonald's CEO going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says it just got more absurd. McDonald's $18 million a year CEO is now on camera describing beef notes and tempered cheese. He's breaking down a Big Mac like a wine tasting. So he's doubled down is what's happened here, because he kind of started a trend, right? You got Burger King, A&W, and everybody. Wendy's also did a reaction. So just real quick, I'm not going to play this whole video, but here's what he's doubled down on here.
On my right, hey everybody, we are here to do another spectacular McDonald's taste test. And I've got on my right here the classic McDonald's Big Mac, which you all know and love. I certainly love it. And then we have our chicken Big Mac.
I can't with this guy, bro.
On our menu before, and it's coming back to make a reappearance. So we're going to do a little comparison between the two, starting with, of course, the iconic McDonald's Big Mac. So here we go. First, visual appeal is very strong. Looks fantastic. Can't wait to bite into it. The cheese is nice and tempered.
This guy's so far removed from their customer base, bro. Like, who the frig would say that when they open it up?
I have no idea who he was trying to reach. And then I saw some memes that came out about this guy. It was a different video, I guess, but this guy said there's a guy out of frame with a gun pointed at him.
A question recently came in on my Instagram. How often do I eat at McDonald's? I would tell you it's a lot, probably 3 or 4 times a week. Sometimes it might be a breakfast. Sometimes it might be a lunch. But hey, one of the perks of the job, you get to eat at McDonald's a lot.
Maybe it's the $18 million too, buddy.
Yeah. I think that might make it worth, a little bit of the damage you're doing. This guy says he calls McBS on that one in particular.
That's good. I like that.
Another meme moving forward, we had a senior agentic engineer doing his job. So I think the joke here, the idea here rather, is even just a senior agentic engineer is kind of like the new title that's going to be continuing to come about, which means that essentially someone who's like a prompt person, right? Who just knows how to type in prompts on ChatGPT really well, or Claude or Cursor, rather, like to be realistic. And this is what their job is going to be like, just like basically they become the assembly line of code. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fascinating way to phrase it and a visual for it, right? Like it's come full circle. Where we used to be like the machines, and now the machines, like, you get what I'm saying?
Yes. It's a fascinating thought to me. So not necessarily funny, but just kind of potentially real of how things are going to look. Let's see. This next one. Gen Z, 3 seconds after being able to afford a house.
That's crazy.
So, pretty wild there.
Them maintaining house prices, though, like for them to do that, that may be what makes the whole thing fall. Because, like, there's no buyers for these things. And so many people have so much of their wealth wrapped up in this fake concept, right? Where they'll do anything they can to keep the prices up. But when you're fighting market forces that aggressively, I just think that's going to wake people up to how money works so much more. Because, like, how do you do that without making the cost of things that are already crazy go up that much more?
One thing that people have, or that's on the side of the narrative around this, is like younger people, we've all kind of thought or kind of understood home ownership is not really like the answer to everything.
Yeah,
per
it's
se.
not it.
So because of that, that transition might be a little bit smoother, where you're used to renting, but the prices of rent are still going up, right? So it's still the same problem. Don't get me wrong, but home ownership alone might not be the thing that messes with people. It'll just be like, holy crap, I literally can't afford to pay my rent, and therefore I could be homeless or whatever. But the dream of buying a home, at least, has probably been dead for our whole generation.
Yeah, it was never really even part of it.
Yeah.
Especially not in Canada, dude, because there's not really. If you wanted to like live somewhere where like a normal person could afford it as a young person and you didn't inherit money, you'd have to move to like hours away. Like where no one lives, dude. So you better have some Starlink in that joint because you're not seeing like much going on.
Right. We brought up a couple weeks ago, I think it was, when Naval kind of tweeted, he was like, if you're unwilling to defend your country in time of war, then you're not, then you're
delete it? He deleted it?
And this guy said he deleted it. So.
Yo.
He said, deleted this tweet as soon as an actual war popped off from Derek Guy.
Can we confirm that he actually did delete it?
No, I can't confirm it. It's just, for me, just in this case, a meme.
In a meme. Okay.
But, I mean, that got enough traction to where I think it might have been true. Anyways. Nick O'Neill and Clemente at it again with another funny video here. This one's, it's not super funny, but it's also just interesting to think about. I don't know a whole lot of software engineers.
I'm a software engineer and I had to start up. Oh my God, bro, you're a software engineer? Have you heard of OpenClaw or Claude Code? Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't really use it though. Oh my God, please do not tell me that you're writing software by hand still. Yeah, I do. My boss says I write some of the best code on the team. Oh my God, bro. People like you are going to be laid off in the next like 3 months. Have you like heard of Square and stuff like that? Do you not use any of these tools? No, I don't. Oh my God. Bro,
that is how Twitter's like.
You're going to end up being
Facts.
A member of the permanent underclass.
They actually talk like that too.
That's really how they should have made sure it was framed, because like that's how people talk on Twitter. You're right. Yeah.
That guy, he has this one meme of himself that he posts every time the prices go up. It's like, y'all sold?
Yeah.
He posts that every time the numbers go up. But yeah, it is that hyperbolic. And I think just because there's so much emotion out there, and also now there's money to be made by getting people afraid or like hyped up. And so it's just, if you're pushing to the latest tools, it's like there's so much money being thrown around. So it is that crazy.
Yep. This one, a little edgy. There was this video circulating around of Bill Clinton as he was like going through the discovery process of looking at like the Epstein files and whatnot. And he was like, he let out like a little smirk or a smile while he was looking at the files. I'll just try to find it real
Clinton,
quick.
Bill? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Sorry, Bill Clinton. Yes.
Yeah. That shit was crazy. Who knows what he was thinking when he was looking at it, but it certainly was not a good look.
Yeah. And there's no telling what he was looking at, right? So I'll play the thing real quick, right? So that we can see what happened.
Okay.
Is this real?
Yeah, man.
Mr. President, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour. So I just want to ask you some questions related.
It's a lot harder to hate someone who's that old. It almost seems like this was always the plan to expose it, but like, let's expose it when everyone's so old that like they got the whole senile card going for them.
Let me show you the funny stuff that I got from this. Hold on.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in.
I don't know if that's copyright or not, so I'm gonna take the volume out. But so I just thought that was kind of funny. But you were saying that everyone's old, so it's like,
I'm sure they're banking on that a little bit. And they even kind of, when they're talking about this stuff, like I saw Hillary get like very frustrated by questions, and it's like, she's like, it's crazy that you would even ask me these questions. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is a massive, like, world-bending, breaking conspiracy that the global elites are crazy. Like, I think we can ask you some questions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you showed up to testify, right? I don't know. I didn't watch any of that one, but yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, I'm going to move on. This one was pretty freaking good right here. This is some AI footage.
Trying to get it going.
Zuckerberg and Elon Musk going at it.
Oh, and a big right hand from Zuckerberg.
This is crazy.
He's hurt. He's hurt. Zuckerberg with the finish.
That's shockingly good, though.
I know, dude. Like, it looks really, really
pretty
good.
Close.
Like, holy moly.
Zuckerberg would win that fight, too.
Yeah. So this guy, Autism Capital, said your account is suspended. I didn't get it at first.
Because like, Elon?
It's on X, yeah.
Dude, yeah, man, how are there not laws saying, like, there needs to be like watermarks all over this thing, or a big warning? Like I can't, if you go to buy cigarettes, there's like cancer lungs on there.
Facts.
But this doesn't have a massive warning. Like, that is absolutely insane.
Yeah, facts, bro. Just circulating out there.
I feel so bad for older people.
No chance.
Like,
no
they
chance.
shouldn't even use a phone anymore, bro. Like, for social media, like, stay off that thing.
Right. Chase Passive Income, one of my absolute favorites. Why is everything written by AI these days? This is his wife apparently texting him saying, "I'm sorry, but it's over. Here are the divorce papers." He says, not reading that AI slop. So I thought that was a funny one. I guess the hyphen, right? "I'm sorry, hyphen, but it's over" is also kind of like a tell of all of the
end dash, the long dash.
Yeah. Yep. Moving on, this guy talks about corporate dude, says POV, the guy who invented circle back.
All right, guys, this is a lot. How about we just circle back?
What did you say?
Like, there's a lot going on. Maybe we just push through it.
No. The other part.
Circle back?
Yeah. Get on the board right now.
Okay, so we are here. We're just gonna circle back.
That's genius.
I know, this could be like weeks or months.
Even years.
Or just never at all. Exactly. Phenomenal.
It's incredible.
A little bit of corporate culture, the circle back, something that you never get back to. Now, this guy, Bodhi Local SEO, he made a very serious statement here. He said, if you follow a business influencer, watch their original videos from when they first started out, there's a ton of insane sauce in those videos. Watch this Gary Vee video from 14 years ago today. Insane how early he was. Have you seen this at all? I'm sure.
I probably have, but I'm not sure the specific one.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely go back and see what he said. But then Chase Passive Income with another banger in my eyes. He came out and he said, I prefer the much earlier content. Just got my hands on the sonogram of Alex Hormozy from 1992. The lessons I've taken from this have already made me $3 gazillion. Hey, you made it to the end of the clip. That means you're probably enjoying this. And if so, just know that you can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to see the full version of this episode, you can click the link in the description down below. Otherwise, YouTube thinks that you will enjoy this next.